Hey guys, this is Carlos Casados, and I want to talk to you about how to deal with rejection. Most of us, at some point or another, have felt that painful feeling of someone rejecting us. So let's talk about that a little bit. Number one, I think it's very important for you to hear that it's not personal. Even though it feels personal, they're not rejecting you, they're rejecting the idea of you inside their own mind. You can't be rejected. All they can reject is what they think you are, who they think you are. So it's kind of important to remember that, first of all. Now that may not take all the sting away from the rejection, but it's a start. Because how you think about it is how you're going to filter the experience. So start off with that idea that this really isn't personal. People are looking for that right fit for them. Whatever it is, whether it's a job or a relationship, a romantic or a friendship. So it's important to realize that if you've been rejected by someone who you don't have a relationship with, that it's really more about them and not about you. Okay? So just know that. If you're in a relationship already and you feel rejected, that's something different that you need to talk about with your lover in a different way. Maybe you have to discuss your feelings and you have to open up the conversation for healing between the two of you. You talk about those feelings, you share those feelings, and you remind each other that really you're on the same team. So sometimes your mate or your friend or whoever you're in a relationship with just didn't realize that they're putting out that signal that is causing you to feel rejected. And maybe you're being too sensitive, or maybe you're being appropriately sensitive. You just need to communicate what it is that's going on. But in situations where you don't know somebody, or you're trying to get to know somebody or connect with somebody and they don't accept you, know that it's probably for the best. So that's number two. It's not personal is number one. Number two is it's probably for the best because there's something about it that just isn't a fit. So trust yourself. Trust that there's something guiding you in your deep mind and deep in your persona that's guiding you, and maybe there's some lovely things about that person that you want to connect with. But if it's not a good fit for them, it'll definitely not be a good fit for you. You'd have to be blind in order to think that you could somehow connect with someone when they're not connecting with you, because connection goes both ways. And whatever it is that you've communicated to them, it may feel like they don't know you, they don't understand you, they didn't take the time, and if they only would, they would have accepted you. Well, that might be true. But it also might be true that they understand something about themselves that you don't. Probably very true, right? So the other thing is, we may still have some feelings, and we need to recognize that the feelings of rejection may relate to things that we've experienced in the past. Most of the time when we have our feelings hurt, the error is actually inside of ourselves. When I say error, I mean that part of us where we're blocking our light, blocking our brilliance, not feeling secure in ourselves and being who we truly are. And that relates to experiences that we've had growing up or earlier in life. So it's kind of important, if you felt rejected, to take a look at that. There's nothing wrong with you, you're not broken, but you may have a story running in your mind that is causing you to filter the world through the eyes of pain. And you're seeing the world that way. And whenever you get that confirmation that someone rejects you, you're like, oh my gosh, see, I knew there was something wrong with me. And that story needs to change. So that's another component of dealing with rejection that you have to deal with, is what's the story going on in your head? What are you telling yourself about it? What does it mean? Okay? Because meaning is so important. What you make it mean. You could make it mean that it's not a good fit, that they're not appropriate for you either. Or you could make it mean that you're unworthy, that you don't deserve them, that there's something wrong with you, that you're weird, that you're different, or any other possible negative meaning you could put onto it. So really the choice is yours. So take responsibility for the decisions you're making about yourself and realize that you may have been making decisions that you're not even aware of. So take a look at that. Dealing with rejection is important. We don't need to go around carrying our wounds and letting it block ourselves. We're not going to really shine and attract the right person to us if we're holding those wounds in our heart. We'll attract somebody, but it won't necessarily be the right person. So you've got to remove those emotional blocks from, the surface of your mind so that you can actually let your true beauty and your charisma and that love that you have inside of your heart shine. It's so important. And then there's a final little thing that I want to give you. And what it is the way we relate to people. If we close our eyes and think about that person and kind of remove everything out of our minds for a second except for the you and that person, do we feel smaller than that person? Do we feel bigger than that person? Are we seeing eye to eye in our imagination? Or are we worshiping them? Are we placing them on a pedestal? The way your unconscious mind relates to those images as you think about that person will change how you feel. So maybe you could try to adjust some of that stuff. So, for example, I could close my eyes and think, do I need to increase my size or decrease theirs so that we're eye to eye? Do I need to move them further away from me or bring them closer? Do I need to bring some color? Do I need to change the way we look on our faces? Try to experiment and see how that changes the way you feel about them. And step into the truth of who you are and realize that your life is a gift and that deep down you have a wonderful genius inside of you that's just waiting to come out, and the right person for you will see that. Remember that a lot of the world is resonance. So we want to check in, and the more we work on ourselves, the more we can check in with that resonance and feel what it is that resonates with us. Okay? If you can imagine that whatever vibration of thoughts and feelings that you're projecting at any given moment is going to resonate with something. So are you going to resonate with positive, enlightened, loving energy, or are you going to resonate with fear and unworthiness and the feeling of lack? Because you're the one who decides that. So if we all just take responsibility for that and remember who we truly are, get out of the way and let yourself shine, you're going to be a lot better off, because remember, it's not personal. Thanks very much.